Welcome back to CineSuite, where we talk all things cinema, television, and the treats we like to eat while watching the screen. Because we have learned that it must be said, just as a heads up, there's spoilers ahead, so if you need to duck out now, do it. Today's treat isn't necessarily a treat. We actually have some ramen going on. I'll insert it here, and then we might have a Trader Joe's treat a little later, but I don't know how many episodes it is. But we are getting into Wednesday season 2. So we had a whole plan, which was to rewatch season 1, then watch the trailer and do a little chit chat about it. And then life just got real busy. In the last 3 months, we've been to New York, we've been in a couple of places in Virginia, Pittsburgh, Maryland. Like, we've been all over the place. We've been doing so many different things and filming it all and then deep in edits. So all that being considered, we have not had time to do what we had initially had planned. So now we're probably just going to get into it with Wednesday season 2. And then if there's need to backtrack to season 1 for any reason, we'll do that. And we may double back anyway and then watch season 1 and then watch season 2 again all together. But we're just going to dive into season 2 without anything. We never watched any of the previews, so we literally going in cold turkey. I have no idea what we're about to see, but we're excited. We loved season 1. Season Love was incredible. It's one of those shows where we've been like, when is it coming back? Like, the way that it ended, we needs it now. So in our Wednesday-esque attire, we're gonna get into Wednesday season 2. We'll be back. Episode 1. Here we woe again.
Here we woe again. I love the title.
Bruh.
How you feeling?
That was a great way to. At first, I was like, what's going on? But by the time we got to the end of the episode, I was like, oh, we stepping back into the season like that. Yeah.
Full steam ahead. I got not one complaint so far. I'm excited.
Yeah, not one complaint. And I mean, the storytelling, like what she did over the summer and her coming back into her frenemyship with Enid, the I love you but boundaries. Like, Wednesday is a great example of like, okay, we're cool, aka I tolerate you now, but here are my boundaries. Like,
respect my boundaries.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I respect Wednesday for that. And then also immediately we're getting introduced to potential villains and people to look out for this season, like our new principal. Like, I did not like the way he came at Sis, talking about, you're a scholarship student, right? So we don't get this money. I guess we're gonna have to start letting go of scholarship students.
Yeah, he's petty.
That was messy. And then also whatever beef he has with the former principal, like, I'm pretty sure that painting they showed at the end with Wednesday was the painting of the former principal in her honor, painted over with that photo of Wednesday.
Interesting.
And I feel like he's somebody who's scorned or had some sort of issues, and this is him getting his lick back, trying to go back to, traditional, the old way. Like, I'm definitely sus of new principal. Also, getting familiar with what this bleeding black out the eyes might mean for Wednesday, and the fact that she still got this stalker. Like, they definitely sprinkled a whole bunch of questions that definitely had me like, okay, where are we going?
Yeah, they gave Thing a really nice piece of the business. And they're giving her brother, I always forget his
Pugsley.
Giving Pugsley his a little bit of his character development. I didn't expect them to give the whole family this much time in the season, but I guess it makes sense with it being the Addams family. But I guess it's a good way to stretch in. But they're sprinkling them in nicely, and I'm enjoying how they did, especially with Pugsley's powers.
Yeah, and tying it into him having similar power to Uncle Fester.
Yeah, I love that.
And then also development with the dad, like that he doesn't have, that the electricity skipped him, and how there was kind of an awkward quiet moment in the car on the way to the school about that.
Yeah, like they're gonna come back to that and treat that, I feel like.
Yeah, and then also giving us questions about the music teacher, like what's her angle and all of this. Also, our Jekyll and Hyde situation from last year, seeing homie's dad coming back and be reintroduced, and seeing how this has now entangled his life into the
Fabric of the story.
is the fabric of the story, and into the side of life that he was so anti.
Yeah.
Like now the outcasts are like at the center of his life, kinda, and it's got him doing something, he and his friend were actively investigating something that would benefit or keep safe the outcasts. So it's really interesting to see how they're I'm excited. We're about to get into the second episode because
Shouts to the Scarface Crow.
yeah, I'm feeling like Scarface Crow ain't up to no good.
Yeah, that's why I like him.
Not if you got beef with Wednesday.
Yeah. They'll be friends by the end of the season.
Wednesday, my homie.
Him, and Thing will be hanging.
Like, I feel like the crows got something to do with the new principal because he had them build that crow for the fire.
I think the crows are going to be hers by the end of the season.
Okay.
Under her control.
Okay. All right, we're going to get into it. We'll be back. That's terrible.
No.
Okay, so the sun has gone down, a nap was had, and now we've seen episode 2.
2. You're right.
2.
And 2 was a win. That was a big win. I like that better than 1.
2 was, I'm like, bruh, how many challenges is Wednesday gonna have to be dealing with simultaneously? Like now we got Thursday running around here with red pigtails, courtesy of my husband. Thursday running around here with red pigtails, trying to be a copycat. And we got these crazy ravens still doing their thing. I'm curious, like, what is the motives of this new principal? What are the motives of the music teacher? There's just too much going on. And then who is this other stalker that we've had since last year? Also, having an invisible girl, I feel like that just throws so many more monkey wrenches and things, especially if
You think
Wednesday.
she's a separate stalker? Think Thursday's separate from the stalker?
I feel like yes.
Okay.
Because remember, she started getting those messages before they left last year, and she's a freshman.
And you think Thursday wasn't at the school last year? Do you think she's just unknown?
Yeah, I think she wasn't there last year because she was like, this is my 13-year-old freshman.
13-year-old is that the first year they come in?
I wonder, because Pugsley didn't go last year, and this is Pugsley's first year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, especially if Wednesday decides she don't want nothing to do with Thursday, like, does Thursday become a very problematic, like, villain adjacent while we already got this other stuff going on, the Ravens dying? Because I don't think this 13-year-old is responsible for all this other stuff that's happening around. The other stalker, the carryover from the Jackal Hyde situation.
Killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Right, like we've got some carryover storylines, and then why does this new principal care so damn much about saving Nevermore, and what's his beef with the former principal that has him so upset about that, and then why is he so hung up on getting this money from Morticia's mom, and also forcing Bianca to do it? Like, yes, I get it that she's a siren, but also I was like, I hate that I'm triggered about this dynamic, because I'm gonna just say, a white teacher with power abusing a black student. So
what leverage does he have on her again?
She's a scholarship student, and so he was saying, if the school doesn't get money, we're gonna have to start letting go of scholarships. And well, I might just have to let go of your scholarship, you know, who gets to be looked at first. And so that was a little triggering. Like, the writing is exquisite. What was the thing that we said didn't track?
That probably doesn't work well, especially well with you, because of what you heard Tim Burton say years ago that was triggering.
Oh yeah, so I had a love-hate with Tim Burton because I've loved so much of his artwork, but in an interview, in so many words, he had said, you know, he writes and creates what he knows, and that folk who tend to look like us just don't really exist or didn't exist in the worlds that he envisioned. But I was also saying I thought this was one of his most diverse projects that I've seen him create, with all sorts of people being on good, evil, bad, whatever, and it not seeming based on color. And I'd have to go back and watch that interview or find that footage now to see how I feel about it and whether or not I was just triggered unnecessarily seeing it then. Because I think I had also come around differently on that already, just because I guess we all get to create our worlds and the things that we want to see. And so can I be mad at another artist just creating what they desire to see in the world and
what they envision, what their mind naturally creates? Yeah, I know we kind of walked through it already. I just thought it was interesting.
And so I think
you noticed that with this character, and I didn't bring it up purposefully while we were watching it, because
so
it'd be helpful here.
But I think there's so many other dynamics going on, but yes, this in particular did happen to trigger me, just because I think seeing stuff like this in movies just it triggers me still, and it may not forever, but just as a presenting person of color, I think sometimes just seeing relation dynamics like that in a show, like either become from conditioning and experience, is just a little triggering to see.
I think also it can be triggering when you're not sure what the impetus was, or whether it's a blind spot that created the challenge for the person. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Because like, if Tim Burton hasn't had much experience with black people, he may not understand that, oh, this could be triggering, this could be offensive, or this could be something that distracts them from getting the best thing they can get from the story.
Yeah. Yeah, and then maybe it's adding a layer that actually isn't there. Like maybe it could have been any other student looking any other way, and it would have been, whatever. But because of certain underlying undertones of history, as a person of color watching this, that's coming out in this. And maybe with another character, had the principal been of another race, or Bianca the student had been another culture or race, like this wouldn't be a thing. But for this particular, it's just a little something. It tickled something.
It some discomfort.
Yeah, it just created a bit of discomfort.
And I wonder if it would have created discomfort for somebody in another culture, the same sort of discomfort. Curious.
So just that, lording over that, and then also, like, okay, so what is his aim? Like, why is he here? Why does he care so much? Why does he have so much invested on this school in particular? Why does he care so much about Nevermore and bringing it back, Nevermore Forevermore? Like, what is all wrapped up into this? Also, what does he have to do with these ravens? Because when Wednesday asked if there was any student that had, raven capabilities, raven controlled capabilities, the teacher in the glass jar said no, not for 10 years. There hasn't been someone, but he just kind of awkwardly, quietly stood there and was just like, yeah, anyway, moving on. Carrying on. But he had them build the bonfire in episode 1, and it was a raven at the top of the bonfire that flew off and then went into flames. And the ravens, the murder, are what's flying around here, murdering 2 folks.
He did
so
say
far.
We had a student here.
Right.
He said student. Keyword. Okay. Yeah. I was wondering about that, and I just dropped it because I got so focused on everything else.
Also, I love good storytelling. I love how they prefaced where Enid and her boo wound up in the clock tower, how during one of the earlier transitions, we came up and over the clock tower into another scene. So we kind of had... Yeah, we kind of had that foreshadowing for when they wound up there in the end. So visually, I'm enjoying this. The storytelling, we also really enjoyed getting to see our Jekyll or Hyde. I always forget which is which, but I think it's our Hyde. Yeah, our Hyde locked up, and Wednesday getting her lick back with being like, really don't care, don't need to come back here again. Got what I needed.
Her lines at the end before she walked out. With everything. That was. He
was like, "Oh, you thought you were gonna get under my skin? How about these bars before I run up out of here? Won't be back either. Enjoy."
Yep, have a nice life.
But also how that added even more nuance because of all the things for him to say. The fact that he was gunning for Enid too, and her whole vision was Enid having died, and her spirit telling her, like, I'm dead because of you.
So you think the Hyde is coming back?
I don't know. Like, I feel like they've woven him in. I highly doubt they would have brought him in and all of this set and this doctor with no reason, or that he's not going to show back up at all. Or the mention of, oh yeah, the Jackal is being kept in another facility somewhere away, and she's still denying that she's his master. Like, all of this could be to tie up season 1 loose ends, but I feel like they wouldn't have given it that much time and introduced us to the facility and introduced us to how he's being controlled. Like, the focus, we got a couple shots of the security guard having to hit the trigger to roll him back in. I think we saw that twice. I don't think they would give us that much time in that world and then give us a little backstory on the doctor either, the psychiatrist.
The Invisible Woman break him out. Because Wednesday now knows the 3-digit code probably. And that would probably be the best way to break him out, to utilize him for whatever she needs him for at the end. I think he's going to be a tool at the end of this.
Especially because what the psychiatrist was trying to do is break the bond between the other Jackal. Yeah.
Maybe he'll be imprinted on Wednesday at the end of the season or something.
Or already is. Like, she was like, he talks about you all the time.
Yeah, true. Good points. Well, I think we're chewing on some things.
I wanted to say it was interesting, kind of the undertones they gave when Wednesday asked about the psychiatrist. How she said when the other woman was talking to her in the office, when Wednesday was like, so when can I see him? She's like, that's up to psychiatrist Dr. So-and-so. And she was like, is she an outcast herself? Mm-hmm. And the lady's like, no. And she's like, no, why does that matter? And I think there's a bunch of real world examples of how someone who's not of or hasn't participated in a specific experience or culture being the expert on it is always seen as a little bit sus, and the questions of care, consideration, rationale, reason, perspective, and relationship to, and reason empathy for having relationship to said group that they are the expert, or thing that they're the expert on, when they have no actual relation or ties into that space, community thing, etc. And how that usually comes with some negative connotations or some unhealthy or typically problematic dynamics. And I thought it was interesting that they made a point to bring that up. So I definitely do applaud this show. Like, I'm really enjoying it. Shout out to Timber and shout out to all of the actors. I just blanked on Wednesday's actual name, Jenna Ortega. Yeah, they've got us. Episode 2, and they have totally got us. So getting into episode 3?
Yep, let's get it.
Before we get into 3, one thing we just realized that we wanted to piggyback into is woe seems to be the theme of the season, or this first half of the season. And so we were pondering whether or not that was going to carry in to the second part of the season, or if this was just for the first part. But the interesting, and so we have the question of like, what is woe's placement or purpose or meaning gonna be in this season? And then Babe was like, okay, but what is woe? What does woe even mean? Because you have the woe is me and the different uses of woe. So we're gonna look up the definition of woe, because I was gonna say I think woe means like weight, or like something heavy or negative, like sorrows, or like something painful or something. I think that's what woe is, or something displeasing. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was right, sorrows. So great sorrow or distress. Also often used hyperbolically. So things that cause sorrow or distress or troubles. And Wednesday does have a bunch, like that was the one thing I was just saying, is she's got a whole lot going on this season. I was like, there's the music teacher and the principal, what does he want? And then the thing with this Hyde is still going on, and her stalker. I was just like, and then now Thursday, her little mini me with the red pigtails. Like, there's just so many things. That's a whole lot of woe.
Yeah, whoa.
Like, literally, woe as in W-O-W, and woe, W-H-O-A, not W-O-W. That's wow.
For a character who doesn't know woes, Wednesday doesn't really know sorrow, sadness.
What she told the music teacher, she was like, I don't succumb to chaos, I create it.
Yeah. So maybe this is about giving Wednesday a little more humanity, or tapping into her humanity a little bit more.
Like, she's literally living in chaos she can't control. And then the whole season started with it, because when we met her, she was confronting that serial killer and wound up getting hemmed up for a quick second.
So good food.
And then also with her power, how she wasn't understanding and wasn't being able to control the black bleeding in the eyes, and that frustrating her.
Then that's one of her first woes, that she can't access her power anymore.
Right, and so now her power is not being able to activate. And then her mom decided to stay, so another woe, another trouble. She couldn't control that. She was like, no, just leave. And her dad was like, yeah, bro, that coffin's closed. This a done deal. She done made up her mind.
Yeah, the woes are piling up for her.
Right. And then you have her woe of her worry for Enid now, feeling like but essentially being responsible for what may or may not happen to her friend.
What if it's an acronym? Worry over Enid.
That's fun. That could be it.
I'm just kidding. And then the W for Wednesday too is interesting with woes as well. So what if there's some other mystery or cute in there?
And then also this side plot that we have, a woe that she's not even aware of with Pugsley, that he has unleashed and created this whole other problem that the campus is eventually going to have to deal with, because the outcasts are always being accused for stuff by the normies, and he is essentially at least a rabid zombie with a cuckoo clock heart that can't be a mechanical heart. So basically an unkillable something into the population that has now gotten his first brains. So a woe that she didn't even know existed. And that was one of her only rules to Pugsley, was like, something weird happens, something strange happens, it comes through me first. Like, so yeah, the woes is woes on woes on woes.
And it's dope because it's giving us a chance to really get into Pugsley, like really getting into Pugsley with these powers, like him electrocuting the teacher, the fishbowl teacher. I think
finding a way from feeling like nobody and feeling like an outcast to, well, I'm gonna make mine.
Yeah, I'm that dude. I'm gonna get my own vision of people dedicated to me. I think I got a feeling that Pugsley's arc is going to really mean something serious here. This Fester power, this electrical power.
And us getting our first little nod to Fester too, sending Thing a happy birthday.
Yeah, good idea, good thing.
Letting us know that he's never too far away. He's still in the mix. And then I also think that teacher too, like we've seen him now, he wasn't in season 1, I don't think. So seeing this teacher,
the fishbowl?
the fishbowl teacher, and what's his connection with the new principal, and what is that dynamic? And then also what's gonna be Bianca's liberation? Like now this principal is creating this weird dynamic, like I control your rise or your fall. Also, I was like, he showed the little locket, so I was like, is Wednesday, or who's gonna be the one to separate him from that locket? Because he need the business. He need to be handled with quickness. But yeah, it's really interesting how the woes are piling up. And then also the new sheriff, who's already looking at Wednesday sideways too, after Gomez had to, get into it and like, oh, I'm not just her daddy, I'm her lawyer too. And also this was illegal. You talking to this,
Yeah, things are getting crazy for her.
Yeah, but and we're just at episode 2, like the crazy is crazy.
Yeah, they hit the gas all the way in. Well, great job, Tim Burton.
The call of the woe instead of the call of the wild. Boy.
Excelente. They gave us the sirens motivation. Helped us understand how she was able to be manipulated so well, which was a question we had earlier.
Yeah. So her mom being essentially on the run, having escaped the cult that she was a part of, that she originally tried to get Bianca to be a part of, and Bianca refused. So we now see her reasoning is she also can't get kicked out of the school because she's the only thing keeping her mother safe.
Yeah. They closed the loop nicely with that.
Yeah. I'm still on the fence about the principal, like what he is, or like is he really just a kooky old school person who just is so fond of, like, is so stuck in the good old school days that he just can't move on, and the school is the only thing he has, and preserving it is driving him.
Is the real passion, or is there some other driver?
Yeah, because then every time he asks Wednesday about something, it doesn't always come across as nefarious. Like, aren't you coming to the campfire? And him always seeming kind of just
thankful.
like unsuspecting of her responses and being surprised by her actions.
Yeah, and being really grateful for her helping to help the school, the morale with the students. Yeah, so
they've really written this bizarrely. And then Wednesday finding the Hyde's dad's finding, what were they calling it? The bullpen, finding the bullpen and finding the details of all of these deceased outcasts, and figuring out like what was he onto, who is Lois. Ironically, we just finished rewatching Superman, so that is funny. But who is Lois? What is Lois's relationship to these deceased? I also feel like in it mentioned that some of them were patients of the psychiatrist. I don't know if I misunderstood that, but I thought something she read on the bulletin that he had said that either all of them or some of them had been patients of the psychiatrist, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But also interesting to see how the zombie thing turned out, like how we weren't sure, like, okay, where's this going?
And it's still not done.
Yeah, and like whether or not the person we see, the character we see introduced at the end was the zombie reconstituted, because when we hear the story of the zombie, it's in Tim Burton's style of that sort of like animation. So whether or not this character we're introduced at the end is just some other transfer that they got, or that's the zombie we saw having been shackled up and put into the into the facility, because we did see it was reconstituting itself, and then it got a whole nother body and brain. And so whether or not it put itself together, or have we just been introduced to a whole nother person? And
because it was saying that it grew at an exponential rate and just got a big brain, but not a brain full of much. There was something about the person that was in the cell at the end that may or may not be the zombie. Same color red hair as the girl that turns invisible.
And the lady from last season who was the jackal to the Hyde, was a redhead too.
Okay, so we may be pulling on a thread here. I'm excited for 4.
Yeah.
Let's go. So I wonder if this is the end of Act 2. Or if this is...
So if we're getting Act 1, Act 2,
yeah,
and then getting Act 3, Act 4, because last season only had 8 episodes.
Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to hear people talk about there being a 4-act structure that's starting to develop somewhere. I don't know where I heard that recently. So I wonder if there is a 4-act structure here, or with these series now, because I think we had another one that dropped in 4 parts, or these 8-part series. Yeah, it's hard to divide an 8-part series into 3 acts. So it's like the acts kind of have to, if you're doing a 3-act series, you have to break it up in the middle of an episode. Okay, I'm doing weird math, but this is cool. I'm intrigued. I'm excited to see what's next. We were also talking about the woes. We closed the woes out, I think, right? Anything about the woe theme that's speaking to you now that you've seen this episode? We're starting to
she's just super laden in them. Like now she's just lost to her mother in this sword duel. Like the person who's used to just winning and bulldozing through everything and being praised for being that wrecking ball is having reckonings of her own that are kind of like earth and world shattering. Like she was so determined to get that book back and to be able to get her psychic abilities back, but also how her mom was warning her, like, hey, my sister went down the same path and I refuse to be the same type of mother my mother was to let this happen. But also that Goodies book with shortcuts. That was also interesting. And as she said, the impatience was also what led to her sister's doom, and saying that what she thought was mastering her powers wasn't actually really mastered, and that it was just cheat codes, and that she hadn't shortcuts, and that she hadn't mastered or developed anything, and that she was actually on a spiraling road and not something solid that she thought she was doing. And so she's also kind of having her world reinterpreted in a way that she completely was not thinking was the case. Like she's still been thinking that she was on top of things and that she was in control, and like her mom coming in and kind of saying like, yeah, you're not exactly on the wrecking path that you think you are. You're not in control. The way you say I caused the chaos, no, you're right in the thick of some chaos and you can't even.
I think that's something that annoys me about shows, movies, whatever, that do stuff like this. It's like, okay, why isn't this the moment when you're going through and understand it and telling this person that this is going on and that this is dangerous to them, and that you don't sit down and have the full conversation with them? And I understand maybe emotions are up and you're just maybe just not able to settle yourself, but
or the age-old parental thing of like, I'm just right and I don't have to explain to you why I'm right. You're the child.
It doesn't make sense to me for Morticia. Like, she feels like she's an involved parent. Speaking of, killed the pigtails hairstyle. I love this the switch up on the look and the vibe. And I'm noting, since this is something that would really matter to you, the fashion on here is dope. Like
immaculate.
The stockings that Wednesday's been wearing, the vest she had on was fire. The thing she had on during the duel was really dope. The way it was fitted.
Morticia's corset or bustier during the duel, like,
and before the scene before too, with the little mesh over the over
and her
the
veil with the little hat, and it wasn't like a super big hat or super small hat. It was like right in the middle. And then Gomez, you pointed out,
Gomez, his hair has been intriguing me too.
The suit he rolled up in with them high boots, like the stripes and the high boots.
And the way they got that suit molded so that even with like his weight. I'm not trying to make fun of him at all, but like it seems like
It's tailored
his
to
weight
him.
is like molded perfectly to him. Like he almost looks like a perfect egg the way they got him shaped. And I don't mean to be disparaging about him, but it's just like I'm just literally just naming what I'm seeing. What's
He looks
to
fly.
mind. So, yeah,
Like
he's killing it.
They got it.
And I was saying to you that this is the first time I've seen this actor where his line delivery hasn't irked me a little bit. Like he's clean. He's killing the role, man. I'm really happy to see this because I've been watching him for years in movies. He's always been like, hey, he seems a little caricaturish in the way he delivered his lines. Like here, it just sounds natural. It seems like he's found the role of his career. So
That's so.
yeah.
I also love that our invisible friend, we're also seeing that we got more clarity. She really is determined to be on the ends with Wednesday, and so her goal really isn't to become another woe or another problem.
But
like
now seeing the hair color thing, I wonder.
Well, yeah, and so
She may
then
not
the haircut. So we got the three redheads now. The woman from last season who was the Jackal to the Hyde, and now this new person. Whether or not it is or isn't our zombie reconstituted, and then we saw our shadowy figure who is conceivably controlling the crows at the end too.
Yeah, that's still a mystery that's outstanding.
And what is there
conversation between Wednesday and the doctor, who Wednesday seemed to be accusing at the grave too? Because I don't think she was accusing the sheriff.
And Wednesday and Thing too, how the crow was watching them in the cabin.
Yeah, the fact that this doctor now has the werewolf and the zombie,
The Hyde and the zombie.
The Hyde and the zombie under her care, and the fact that Wednesday accused her at that gravesite.
And that I wasn't sure whether or not Wednesday had said that some of the people who had some of the outcasts who had passed away, I thought she had said that some of them were her patients. And the thread that...
The other point that you brought out too was that you said the headmaster, I don't know what his name is, the fishbowl said that there are no students.
Oh, yes. The fishbowl guy said there are no students. There hadn't been students for the last 10 years that had the Raven ability, the avian ability. And then the woman from the psychiatric facility said there's no patients at the facility that have the avian ability. Two very specific words. Instead of saying, no one here at the school, period, faculty or student, has the avian ability, and then for the psychiatrist to say no patient instead of nobody, period. And are we to believe that there's no outcasts that have employment that work at the place? And then also how we've discovered that outcasts can mask that they're outcasts. Like we didn't know the Hyde was the Hyde until he started changing more and more frequently, and there started being evidence left. And so could it be possible for someone, like if your only gift is avian ability, would you really outwardly be presenting as a outcast? Or like Gomez, who seems to have had just the weird having skipped him beside his proclivity to the strange, the weird, and knives and sword fighting.
Yeah. You know, the headmaster is interesting about him is I don't know of any other ability he has. Have they shown him having any other ability?
I don't think so. So that's why I was like, I'm curious. And I kept trying to see if, like, since the bird has that marking, I was like, does the person who the bird is working for have that similar marking? So I kept trying to see if there was some sort of marking somewhere that the guy had. But right now, the only tie is the bonfire having had the bird on top.
Yep, that's it. All right.
All right, episode 4, the last one. I'm so mad that there's only the first part.
Oh, did you mention our sweet too that we've been kind of busting down?
So outside of the ramen, our sweet today was Trader Joe's hot honey popcorn, courtesy of mi madre. A lot of our snacks are courtesy of my mom because she be going into Trader Joe and be finding the things and all the snacks. So, she put us onto this hot honey and it actually was delicious. There was a little pepper in it too, and it was delicious.
Yeah, my daughter was here last week with us, and we bought a bag of Chicken Pop, and she was shocked at how quickly
boom
that
chicka
bag
pop.
disappeared. Yeah.
That purple bag is dangerous.
The bag disappeared pretty quickly, and she was like, I should have stashed some for myself. And she learned that next time you better get it, because, yeah.
I told her that's her dad's favorite, and she was like, "Oh, we can all enjoy." I'm like, "No, that bag could disappear.
That bag is in
Leave it
danger.
alone with your dad."
It's in danger.
But we gonna get into it. So, episode 4, and grudgingly the last episode that is available so far.
This
If
one kinda-
woes could talk instead of if walls could talk.
And if that title kind of taps in kind of dope, because Quan and Fly were a group named Black Lotus, members of the Beggars, my old group, and they had a song called If These Walls Could Talk. So, cool.
We gonna get into it.
Let's go.
Yo, they really just got right into it. Bruh. So it was indeed our friend from last season. It was the Jackal to our hide, bruh.
Yeah.
Bonafide, certified, crazy.
So we were kind of wrong in thinking that was the zombie. So now we got to wonder where the zombie is.
100% wrong thinking that was the zombie.
Already. But
Yeah, so that was the Jackal to our hide, and now they have been reunited, and that was some crazy shit.
and it was very annoying to me that they uncuffed her and all that. Like that was
Yeah,
so
like why would you
amateur.
allow that? Like especially
that I think that's bad writing. Like, you could've
especially
done a more
after that
creative way of making
negotiation
that
of
happen.
like you already know she's a problem, you know
Mm-hmm.
she's his handler. Like why would any of that even be allowed to transpire? Like none of that should happen. Yeah, I do agree. That was one of just those annoying
done better
scenes.
with
Like
that, yeah.
why would you ever? And then like you said, his finger wasn't on the button to
Mm-hmm.
rein him in.
Yeah.
The fact that he was able to reach and grab her, like as soon as they were reaching, it should have been a bzz.
Yeah, there's
Get back
so many things.
5
that
feet
just
from the
drop off.
bars.
Like, okay, like we're just rushing through to get you to the next point in the plot. It feels
Or my other thought was that a little bit of shade that's been thrown toward the psychiatrist, like she was so determined to see what would happen that she allowed all that chaos to ensue.
Potentially, yeah, like this was
Like
her plan.
even though she looked shocked afterwards, she still was willing to see what's gonna happen. Like he could
I
have
hope that's the
killed
case.
her
That's
or
the-
whatever.
Yeah, that's the only way we can make this better.
But
she did say hold off. Well, she only said hold off because you'll electrocute her, and that meant that she was valuable to her as well, or is it that she was just worried about a murder charge or a violation? Questions. I hope they resolve this in a way that makes me feel better about that part.
bruh.
What is the value of this dumb shit?
Bruh.
I'm just kidding.
September 3rd? Are you kidding me?
Do you see any value in that release strategy?
No, except for, I don't know, making you wait, building anticipation. I don't know. I don't see what the benefit is.
I guess you give room for the people to chatter and talk and build up more buzz. Yeah. More fanfare. Maybe. I'd be interested in hearing if somebody's going to explain it.
The culmination of these first 4 episodes, like what was episode 4? What was that?
I was very happy to see that a lot of what we expected was not what we got.
Yeah. I mean, crazy lady coming back, Jackal getting murked by the hide, now Wednesday in a coma. And the actual psychiatrist lady had nothing to do with nothing. The avian lady was the first successful. I'm like, if this isn't Marvel spun a different way, like humans hating mutants but wanting to imbue self with mutant,
That's just the story of mankind.
like, bruh. But if you can't beat them, join them, but don't join them in a way that you support them. Try to become
Try
them.
to take from them. Just keep appropriating.
Yeah, so basically,
Take what
her
you
and
want.
her daddy and her trying to appropriate. And then how apropos for him to get murked by a outcast that he abused. So the full circle for our zombie friend talking about, hello, old friend. That's crazy. Like, was Willow Hill supposed to be the place where that character was in the beginning in that animated sketch? Like, in that hospital, was that hospital not just a regular hospital, but a special, was it Willow Hill? And was he one of the doctors who was
Good question. Well, that might be one
Since
reason
he
why
said-
they gave us this time. They're gonna give us time to rewatch and try to figure things out and create questions, and this is kind of
so many things. And then for the music teacher, like they completely gave us a bait and switch. Like the fact that so far she had nothing to do with it. Also, yeah, crazy that his daughter allowed the experimentation, wanting to be a part of his legacy, but also still that whole, you're now technically one of them, though you're not one of them, but still got beef with them, like trying to take them out with the appropriated power you got that is of them. That was
crazy.
just insane. Okay, the scene that did irk me is Wednesday flipping the table with Enid to hide behind it instead of under it with the birds. Like that made no sense. Like why would you not go for something that would cover over top, but something that's covering from behind, as if they weren't, the murder wasn't swarming on all sides. Also, the fact that Thing is still getting the short end of the stick. Like, he is still out here getting disrespected on the daily by Chaos.
The fact that Thing got kidnapped, right? And when he went to fall, what's her name caught him. Her hands were on the ground when she caught him. Isn't that the same as hitting the ground? So if he was going to hit the ground and go splat, what's the difference with her hands?
I have no idea.
Okay.
So yeah, that was crazy.
No
And then
complaints.
we got a little bit more spice from about our headmaster. He was on a suspicious call that Bianca, her mom, and our Gorgon were kind of privy to. So now they know that he's on Bianca's neck because of whatever he's got himself into. And it's also like, who was he talking to? What plans did they have? What does this other person have? What is their investment or their care about Nevermore? What's in it for them? Also, now we done met Morticia's mama. So that was like layers on layers on layers.
I was wondering if that was the Morticia, like the woman who played Morticia back in the day too. I haven't looked it up. Yeah, I haven't looked it up, and I wouldn't expect it, but it would be dope if there was some sort of tie or continuity to the original series like that.
Yeah. But that was wild. That was a journey.
And the headmaster, we were saying we didn't know what power he had, and that he's shooting fireballs.
That it was suspicious about the bird, but then turned out his thing is fire. So got that answer.
Like, I wonder how they're gonna explain him.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm eager for the rewatch already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm definitely eager to go a little deeper. Excuse me. Yeah.
And also this pivot with Bianca and how they've kind of got this mother's theme going on. How Bianca is now crossed the bridge to healing with her mother. After all season 1, it was beef and hatred and tension with her mother, and now she's on her mother's side, on her defense.
Dope how
And
simple
protecting.
it was for her to save her too.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about like, yo, it's just as simple as her walking in and saying, yo, you're my mama. That was dope.
But then also seeing after, the only tie that Gorgon had to anything really was Enid feeling like an outcast. So now we're seeing him get absorbed in a new little bubble where he can be helpful and feel a part of something.
Yeah, happy for him.
Because now he's the only other one who knows the situation Bianca's in, and they've both now gotten tea on what's going on with him, and can then go report back to the Nightshades and be like, yeah, no, there's something actually really sus going on. And then that also sets up Bianca to not be the only one who knows, so that when she does tell Wednesday, or if she does tell Wednesday and her mom about what happened, he's like, yeah, no, I was there, we was in the tunnels, like he's on some sus stuff, like she wouldn't have done it without reason, and here's why, and how she was able to be manipulated. I can vouch, I was part of the rescue party, like, so now it's not just her word against the headmaster, in case he would go back and sweeten up with Morticia and stuff. And then also our fishbowl teacher, like I'm still really curious about him getting such a highlight and like what his role is or isn't going to be in the end, and if he really is just a teacher who has a spotlight this season and he's got nothing to do with it. He just happens to work there.
Developed.
Yeah, he and the new music teacher.
Maybe
Like-
being developed for a future season too.
Yeah, and they definitely, I feel like with this, they definitely locked in, at least from a viewer's point of view, the worthwhileness for a season 3. Like, I could definitely see that being worth the investment because, like, this is crazy.
Like, thinking about characters that you plant maybe for later, too. I'm thinking about Snape, like how they planted Snape for what he was really going to be in the end. Like, you could never really tell what Snape was going to be. I like the idea of having a character like this. Something else that I had to comment on because I loved it from this episode was the way Wednesday came flying out of that window.
Bruh.
Like, that shot and just the way it was edited, the way it looked, like everything was just, it was real.
It had us in that moment where you didn't know what was going to happen, whether or not he was going to shrink back and be like, oh my God, seeing you outside of the cage is different. But like, they gave us a pause of like, where is this gonna go?
Yeah, and just the way it looked though. Like, that I don't know, something about the way it looked.
It was a combination of it for me. It was
all that played into it.
Like literally the bated breath moment of like, where does this go? And then also how the sheriff had always said, how do you always wind up being at the center of things? And then for them to roll up and she's literally out front of the doors, bleeding out on the ground.
Literally at the center of this one now. Yeah. Well, great. Excited about a rewatch.
And then Fester just the way they've created his character to be able to just pop in and pop out. Like, I'm having to separate the fact that I really truly loved the original Fester from the original movie, Addams Family movies. Like, he was so iconic and his look was so iconic, and this is a completely different interpretation of him. So
yeah, and I was never attached to any Fester, but this one just his delivery isn't speaking to me.
I think also his build, like that first Fester was huge. He was looming and had that bald, but
that was the second one.
The second one, yeah. He was huge. He was looming. He was bald, and I feel like for Fester being someone scary and kind of off, like that kind of imposingness, I felt like gave it more. I resonated with that version of the character more. This one kind of feels more goofy, silly, not really scary, and it's more comical versus that second Fester I felt like was funny, adjacent, but also like could be terrifying.
Yeah, but he really owned the character. Like this one doesn't feel like he's really owning the character. It feels like
I feel like he's owning his version of the character, and I feel like he's more comedic relief than like danger scary. Kind of like,
you like the way his lines are coming across though.
I think for like taking it out of the context of like my feelings about the other portrayals that I've seen, I feel like for a particular expression of a character, I feel like he's doing weird, he's doing quirky, he's doing awkward.
So you think he's doing a good job for?
I think I could say yes. I think for a particular interpretation of it, I could say I think he's doing a good job. Like, he definitely gives you weird, gives you quirky. Like, he had us cringing and screaming at certain moments, like when he kissed the cafeteria lady, and just sometimes how he shows up, he gets a physical reaction
just looking at her
out of me. And I think some of that has to do with just like how he's showing up as an actor.
Well,
and it's almost like, and also the flashback of him as a child.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I liked that. I felt like it gave us context for who he is. It's almost like he's trapped as a child, and he's been going through this electric brain shock therapy his whole life.
I like the story. I don't like the way that either actor did it. Like, it just didn't, for some reason, it didn't speak to me.
I don't know. It spoke to me as just being kind of weird and quirky and uncomfortable. And then also thinking about what would a person who's been through cajillion rounds of electroshock therapy and body mutilation, like, what would they sound like? What would they be like? And I feel like he's an interesting interpretation of that. So I feel like it's growing on me, and I'm just having to look at him as not the Fester that I'm anticipating, or like, yeah. But I feel like everybody else was very close to, like, if not nailing spot on, was very. Phone cut off.
Witching hour is upon us.
Yes.
Midnight.
But I feel like everybody else was definitely an interesting portrayal. Definitely so bizarre going through this different kind of nuance with Wednesday not being in control, and not seeing all of the steps ahead. Like, she kind of had this back and forth with being able to see steps ahead, or at least being more calculated in season 1, like how she wound up being able to sort out who the Hyde was. And now it seems like maybe a combination of being like cocky and obsessive has kind of turned on her. Like she had that confidence of like, yeah, I already situated that, and now I've got figured out my psychic abilities because I used Goody's book, and like all of these things kind of almost led to her unraveling, and the irony circling back to her mom having been right and was like, actually, you're not right about this journey that you think you're going on. Like the journey you're going on is not the journey that you think it is, and it's only gonna get worse. And how she did not heed those words and also allowed somebody who already wasn't in their life, grandmama, like to come in and, as Morticia said, spread that wedge even further. And and the interesting part of Morticia articulating what happened and how it happened with her sister, that not signaling anything in Wednesday's head, like, you who is all the most outcast and bizarre and weird and etc. And on a similar path as my sister, and this was my mother's choice with how to deal with my sister, and this is the person you're excited to have in your corner right now, and how none of that ticked anything in Wednesday's head because she was so hyper focused and she was so already like, I've decided this is how it is, and so this is the story I've committed to in my head, and nothing else outside of that can be possible, can be real, can be true, or matters. And so I'm just bulldozing ahead and not even realizing how for grandmama this was solely about just kicking Morticia and putting a thorn in Morticia's side, and how even that they couldn't even be bothered to be care about that.
Grandma doesn't care. I mean, she's made it very clear. Like we were making bets about whether you'd been lured into a trap or not. Like,
and Wednesday feeling like, oh, that's kind of same as me, but realizing like, yeah, but that could be literally just the end of you, and your whole point seems to be to end the end of ends in your heart of heart, to want to do good and help others.
Control. It means loss of control. Wednesday's thing, I think, is I want control of everything. I want and
without realizing that she'd already lost it.
Yeah.
Like it was already gone, and from the beginning of the season, we see it had been gone. And then
but
not
she
only
stated that that's what she wanted at the beginning. That at the end of this, the whole school will bow to me or whatever she was saying. So, yeah, this is.
And then also we've now seen Zombie Friend further reconstitute himself. Like his flesh has grown back more and more, and by the end of this, like it was only like chunks of his face were coming back in. His whole skull? Almost. It seemed like, So I'm guessing he's gonna be completely personified, fully back in his personhood
by the end of this episode. By episode 7, he'll be there.
I think even before episode 7. I think maybe I think by 5 or 6. He's gonna be like he's gonna be speaking words. He seemed real close, so I feel like 5 or 6. He's definitely gonna be in there, because then it's also like, okay, what is his agenda?
So full flesh and personality
or pretty damn close to it. I think by 6 he could be like fully fleshed out, because it also feels like, okay, what is his dog in this fight? Like, what is
he the ultimate?
And also, what role does he play? Because he is an outcast, and so it wouldn't make sense for him to go on rampage on other outcasts necessarily.
Want some more details about him? He was a genius.
Right, he was a benevolent genius that was dying.
Wednesday, he was a mirror for Wednesday.
Well, he was a benevolent genius before he died, and then they said when they put the mechanical heart that he created into him, that when he came back to, he was dark and he didn't have the same light and positive spin on things, and what killed him was his ambition and one of his creations that he was in the midst of.
Wednesday in this season.
You're right.
Except for their ambition and ego.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely a mirror. So I'm really curious to what his crescendo is and all of this. I'm also curious to what does this mean for Wednesday? Like what type of character development this is gonna yield, what this means for these other 4 episodes. Like, does she wake up in the 5th episode, or is she out for an episode? Like, what does this mean? Who else's stories get to expand whilst she's comatose? What does this mean for Enid now that the Hyde is out on the loose, and his promise was to take out Enid? Also, we saw Raven Lady running away. We don't know whether or not she got murked or if she made it out, and if she's still on the board. There's just so many different things going on now that's just like, where, what? And we also, you know, our little invisible friend got to get exonerated. Like, she genuinely is just Wednesday obsessed and wanting to be a part of. I'm
getting used to her. I'm enjoying her. I love seeing Fester Fryer. That was hilarious.
That scene was excellent. Fester
Man,
popping
you laughed
off.
out loud. That was great.
Fester popping off was like, no one sneaks up on me. And by the way, step on the opposite floorboards and figure out where the nails are so you don't creak. And also hold your breath. Jesus, you're louder than a band of banshee. Like, yo, the way he ate her up, spit her out, and she just stood there the whole time, like, just frazzled out, fried out, like, had nothing to say, edited, and then was just like, thanks for the insight. Like, still crispy and smoky, and him just looking like, anyway, so what did you need, Mies?
Yep. No, that's great.
And Wednesday not even batting an eyelash. So I need you to break into, like, not even acknowledging the fact that you just became toast. Like,
this is life.
Yo, like, that was good.
Yeah, they're killing her character, man. I never would have expected or never would have thought I'd be interested in a series about Wednesday Addams. I was never a huge fan of the Addams Family, to be honest, but Wednesday this show is everything. Oh yeah, and you caught your little thing about the intro, about how thing was.
How in the beginning the thing opened it with the Netflix in, so that was cool.
And then this last episode, on episode 4, I think we noticed the intro changed,
and we did get an opening that sounded a whole lot more like the original from season 1, and then of course the original Addams Family jingle.
Yeah, so I'm interested to go back so I can go look with a more detailed eye.
And also, we just over here yawning and things. Today has been a rest day.
Allergies are kicking in.
We were road tripping all weekend, and then there's been so much road and driving on the road, and it's like so much road. Anyway,
aching.
Yeah. So yes, but we couldn't wait. Like we had to get in this Wednesday before it was too late. Once we found, because then again, like I prefaced this. Had no idea this was coming out. Now we had lost track of because for the longest time we were keeping up and kept Googling, like, when is it coming out? When is it coming out?
And we haven't been paying attention that heavily.
And it kept being pushed off. Yeah, and at first we were checking, like, within that first year, like, we were like, yo, when is it coming? When is it? And then as the date just kept being pushed, we just kind of fell off. Focuses went elsewhere. And then when we heard that the trailer dropped, we kept setting, like, okay, we're going to watch the trailer and talk about it, do a rewatch. And it just didn't happen. So now we are in it. We are ready for September 3rd. We will be prepared for September 3rd, and we'll come in immediately with that watch. And we will definitely be doing more of a deep dive with rewatching the 4 episodes that we have so far. And then be back for the rest of it. And then we'll be part of the Angry Brigade that season 3 is not ready to just be given to us, because hat off Tim Burton, hat off everybody involved in this. Jenna Ortega with your non-blinking ass.
Killing it. And tear gas.
Bruh, back to episode 3. The tear gas, Wednesday gangstering through tear gas and wasps.
Didn't even flinch.
Without flinching, just strolling through that joint.
That was love.
Unreal. All right. Well, peace, love, and fairy dust. Thank you for joining us for Cinesuite, where we talk all things cinema, television, and the treats we like to eat while watching the screen. We will catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Bye. Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.